O my Lord, make me brave, and make my task easy for me.
Have faith, step onto the cloud of Islam, and you will discover the light of Iman. Proclaim this message entrusted to you, and the cloud of Islam will carry you.
Fatih Makkah. People keep on giving reference about Fatih Makkah. He says, you know, when Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, when he conquered Makkah, after all the trials and tribulations, the Sahabas fled twice to Abyssinia, I told you. Then he had to flee for his life. From which day we start counting our years, calendar, Islamic calendar. Hijrah, AH, 1409, AH, what is AH? After Hijrah. Now when he reconquers Makkah, he calls the people. He said, what do you expect at my hands? What do you expect now from what you had done to me and mine? What do you expect from my hands now? So they understood his nature too well. They said, mercy, O generous brother and nephew. So he said, I will speak to you as Joseph spoke unto his brethren. Hazrat Yusuf alayhi salam, how he spoke to them. I will speak to you as Joseph spoke unto his brethren. I will not reproach you today. Go, you are free. He gave them all freedom, except 10. You see, we forget. He gave them the whole of Makkah for what they had done to him personally and to his family. All forgiven, except 10. And our people forget the 10. 10, he says, these 10 chop, where you find them, chop off the heads. Subsequently, 6 of them were reprieved. Among them was Hind, that woman who cut out Hamza's body, took out the liver and chewed, not because she was hungry, for spite to show, this is what I think of you and yours. Only thing our Nabi said, don't come in front of me, please, that's all. But he forgave. But out of the 10, 4 had to be executed. Among them was a woman. And this woman was a poet. Poetry is like newspaper. You see, the human mind, when something is said in a nice poetical form, it seems to make a groove in our mentality, and we have a tendency to repeat, whether you like the words or not. You see, you have a tendency, because it's musical, it's rhyming. It sounds like truth because it's rhyming. So, lampooning, disgracing, insulting the women of Islam. That woman, she was beheaded, and 3 others beheaded. This is the example. The people who make mischief on the land, insults Allah and His Messenger, that you should kill them, execute them, or you crucify them, or you banish them from the land, exile them from the land. أَوْ يُنْفَوْا مِنَ الْأَرْضِ, cast them out, exile them, throw them out from the earth. ذَلِكَ لَهُمْ خِزْيٌ فِي الدُّنْيَا. This is the disgrace in this world's life. وَلَهُمْ فِي الْآخِرَةِ عَذَابٌ عَظِيمٌ. And in the hereafter, it's grievous penalty. Where is this? In Surah Ma'idah. Where is Surah Ma'idah? Get the book. And the M, you find Ma'idah. He'll tell you chapter 5. Easy to find. Ayah number 36. Go and check it up in your own Quran at home. Wallah, every Muslim deserves to have this book. You must have it. Then the Christians come and knock at your door. How much can you argue and debate? Nice, easy way. He says, you know what the Quran says about Jesus? He says, no. Open up under J. In this book, J. Everything about Jesus. First item under J, Jesus. A righteous prophet. Is a true prophet of God. This is chapter 6, verse 85. Number 2, his birth is described in 2 places. Chapter 3, verses 45 onwards. Chapter 19, verses 23 onwards. He said, look, see what it says. Open up. Read it to him. Your neighbor. Whoever comes along, talk to him and say, you know what the book says? You don't know. You're passing judgment. You're taking up stance. Let's have a look. See what it says. Call them to your home for a cup of tea and some kusistas. And says, you know what the Quran says about Jesus' nose? Now open the book, chapter 3, verses 42. Read. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Wa is qalatil malaikatu ya Maryamu. So behold, the angel said, O Mary, Inna Allah astafaki wa taharaki wa astafaki ala nisa'il alameen. That Allah has chosen thee and purified thee, chosen you above the women of all nations. Such an honor is not to be found given to Mary, the mother of Jesus, even in the Christian Bible. Use it. Show them. We haven't done anything. Let Allah do the talking. Can you find a better advocate than Allah? You think you can do better than Him? You can do better than Allah? Look, He's doing it for you. And this man has presented to you in such a beautiful manner. So easy to read and to apprehend the message. And again I said, 5 rands. And if you can't afford it, I said, free. Please write and tell us why I should give you one for nothing. Tell us why. Not just because you are unemployed. You are unemployed, so you want for nothing. Can you read? Can you use? Tell us. Inshallah, you'll get one for nothing. But you know, people, they're too proud, too arrogant. Because again and again, in certain masjids I go, again and again I'm offering to them. I'm asking, have you all got it yet? He says, no. Why not? You can't afford 5 rands. I said, why didn't you ask for one for nothing? You're too proud, you're too arrogant. I said, on the day of judgment, I'll stand up as a witness against you. Ya Bari Ta'ala, I offered these people free, and they wouldn't even take it free. They're too proud. What else? The Westerner, when the controversy was at its height, the university contacts me in Durban. They want to have a debate about Rushdie. I said, right. They want to debate with us. See, to prove that we are all barbarians. They are good people. They are saintly people. They are kind-hearted, compassionate people. That is what they want to prove to the world, to the university students. I said, right. We debate. So they chose a candidate, Professor Gardner. We advertise, should Rushdie die? Should he die? Question mark. Professor Gardner and Ahmed Deedat. As soon as we advertise this, they backed out. They said, no, there'll be trouble. You know, the Muslims are barbarians. They might go berserk and start killing people. So we said, look, we are prepared to have 3 of you at a time. All your professors, your giants of literature. Giants. Writers, great writers. We have 3 of you at a time, under controlled conditions. We have a studio, like the SABC TV. In Durban, we have our own studio. So in the studio, look, these cameras have been brought from Durban. These are all ours. We have been organized, alhamdulillah, into a situation where we can, do something on the same scale as SABC TV. So under controlled conditions, come 3 at a time. No? I was only asking them 2 minutes. I said, you see, you say absolute freedom of speech. Rushdie is entitled to absolute freedom of speech. He has a right to say what he likes. I said, that freedom of speech you give me for 2 minutes. That's all. What he calls my mother, let me call your mother that. That's all, for 2 minutes. I'm not asking anything more difficult. What you want to call Surah my mother, sir, let me use those same words for your mother. And I want to know how you feel. I want to see your reaction. What would you do? They backed out. Now we have made an offer in Britain and in America. £50,000. It's a stupendous amount. £50,000, that's a 5 4 20, about 200,000 rand. We are offering to the BBC TV to give Ahmed Deedat 5 minutes, that's all. To give them the best of Rushdie. We give you the best. They want to read this in public. They're reading it in public. Rushdie's book. You know why? To hurt you. Because we know what they're trying to read is to hurt us. Swearing my mother, my father, our Sahabas, Islam, abusing the Quran, using filthy, dirty language. So it gives them great pleasure and joy. I said, right, give me 5 minutes. I give you 50,000 pounds to any charity you name. Give me 5 minutes on BBC TV and I will give you the best of Rushdie. Something, your uncle is gone mad now. Uncle Deedat has gone mad. 50,000 pounds for 5 minutes. In America, we send these things and I advertise this. We give you $50,000 for 5 minutes. On American ABC TV, only quote the book. This is what Rushdie says about your mother. This is what he says about Margaret Thatcher. This is what he says about all white women. Maybe I'll touch it tomorrow. Therefore, I'm saying, please, don't bring little children. Don't bring women. If those women are big enough, stern enough to hear, you know, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know. Look, wallah, I don't know. But it's a very difficult task. In America and Britain, I'll be much freer because I can use on BBC TV the language that Rushdie uses. I can use it quite freely because that country gives you freedom, absolute freedom. So right, give it to Rushdie, give it to me. I just want to quote to you what Rushdie says about your mother. All white women, whether they're Irish, they're Jewish, they're fat, non-differential, all white women, as long as they're white. What he says, what you should do to them. I only want to read to you, page so-and-so. I want to read to you, page so-and-so, what he says. See, this is what the Muslims didn't know. And because we don't know, we cry, because they swore us. Because he swore and abused my mother, our mothers, the wives of the Prophet, it's hurting us. And we're crying, and we're marching, and we're dying. And to them it's a big joke. They're getting sadistic pleasure. Says, you Muslims, you have been a challenge all along. You are the guys who's telling everybody. He says, look, don't drink. No, you may be drinking yourself. But when you start preaching, you say, you mustn't drink. You mustn't gamble. You mustn't take interest. You mustn't dance. You mustn't be promiscuous. No? You mustn't eat the pig. Don't you tell them that? You might be eating it yourself on the sly. But the Muslim, when he talks straight. It's like telling the Hindu, what are you worshipping? Men, monkeys, elephants, snakes. Telling the Christian, what is this 3 in 1, 1 in 3? Huh? Can you see? You are a challenge. The Muslim is a challenge. The very fact that you wear a kufiya, you are a challenge to them. You know that? You are an offense. After 300 years, he failed with you. 300 years, you have been hammering your fathers. You know that? After 300 years, he failed with you. 300 years, you have been hammering your fathers. You know that? You didn't come here because you wanted to come here. You were brought here by force. My so-called Malay brethren, I'm talking about. Your forefathers, 300 years ago, they brought them from Indonesia. Those who were fighting for their freedom, they were captured as prisoners of war and shipped to the Cape of Good Hope and sold to the white men as slaves. Then when the British conquered Malaysia, those of our brethren who were fighting for their freedom, they were captured as prisoners of war and shipped to the Cape of Good Hope for the white man, and sold to the white men as slaves. Therefore you carry their names. Fuad Hendricks. That Hendricks is Christian, Fuad Hendricks is Muslim. What is this Hendricks? You know, look, I'm not trying to make a joke of it, but now this, because they were our slave masters. We were sold to them as slaves. Our fathers met in private. They were not allowed to even make salat, pray. So you meet people, they, under those conditions, say, what's your name? Say, Muhammad. And you, Yusuf. And you, Dawood. And you, again, Muhammad. And you, Suleiman. And you, again, Yusuf. How do you know who's who? So which Muhammad? He said, no, I work for Hendricks. So, you know, when we talk about you in the future, Muhammad Hendricks. And the guy who was slaving for Hendricks. And you, for Fenta, Dawood Fenta. And look, this is how the names came about. They changed our language. They change our language. You speak Afrikaans at home. You are more at home with Afrikaans as a mother tongue than English. You are bilingual, alhamdulillah, both languages, English and Afrikaans. You're good at both. But you speak Afrikaans more. How did that happen? You lost your own language. That once, if you remember, those of you who were there in the city hall, I was speaking about Christianity, communism, or Islam, which has the answers to the problems of South Africa. And during the course of that talk, I was giving you people samples of different languages. In the city hall, it says, look, English, is anything funny about English? No, yes, no, well, it's normal. You're listening to me. It doesn't sound silly, no, funny, no. Then I quoted you in Afrikaans. my usual Afrikaans, you know. Maar ek sal julle die waarheid. Dit is vir julle voordelig dat ek wil gaan, want as ek nie weggaan nie, sal die trooster nie na julle kom nie. En then I quoted in Zulu, then I quoted in Tswana, then I quoted in Swahili, then I quoted in Indonesian, but I didn't tell you where I'm quoting from. When I quoted in Indonesian, you people laughed. The loudest laughter was for this, not for Zulu, because you listen to Xhosa, it sounds like Zulu, similar. But when I started quoting in, as a tengoklah, tanganku, dan kakiku, inilah aku sendiri, jamahlah aku dan lihatlah, karena hantu tiada berdaging dan tulang, seperti yang kamu lihat ada padaku. And you people laughed. In the city hall, Cape Town. You laughed. Most of you were Malays. Malay Muslims, my brothers. Most of you were Malays, and you laughed. I'm asking, whose language is that? You say, you don't know. I said, that's your language, you fools. You laugh at your own language. Your own mother tongue is the silliest and funniest of them all. That's what you voted. The silliest and funniest language of all the languages I quoted you, the Lebanon. You voted to be the silliest and funniest was your mother tongue. Shame. No, I was only trying to prove a point. I said, you see, if you are taken away from a language for a long period of time, you never heard your own mother tongue. Because Malaysian and Indonesian, identical. If you didn't hear it for 300 years, you know a few words. Pisanci, labarang, you know a few words. But now when I say tenggoklah, tanganku, dan kakiku, inilah aku sendiri, people start laughing. I said, you know why you're laughing? Silliest? Yes, it's the silliest. I said, that's your mother tongue. That's what has happened. After 300 years, this is what they've done to you. Hammering. Instead of subjugating you, to Christianizing you, you have come out one of the most militant Muslim communities in the world. That's what I was boasting. But when I met the Afro-Americans, you know, the American Negro who has become Muslim, I found that he was a little more militant than us. But we are still second most militant. Wallah, the Muslims, most especially of the Cape, you voted that Rushdie must die. There was nothing wrong with that. It was Quranic, it was according to the Sharia. There was nothing wrong with that. And we have nothing to apologize for. Now, tomorrow night, he says, now let's turn the tables. We've got to turn the tables. I'm telling people, don't cry. Because when we cry, it's a great joy for the enemy. He's feeling happy. He says, hey, we got the Muslims this time. See, one of your own is doing this to you. He's getting pleasure, sadistic pleasure in our pain. I said, stop crying. Now you see how you turn the tables. It's a principle, the same principle that you use against the Jews, the Christians, the Hindus, the atheists, the agnostics. Same principle you use here. There's no difference. Last night I was talking about, the principle is, Kul hatu burhanakum. Anytime, anything, anybody claims, your burhan, your proof. The trouble is, we didn't read the book. I'm not saying that we must read the book, it's banned in this country, it's finished. But the people that are there, they must know what other thing the guy says that we can use against the enemy. We need a sharper thorn to take out a thorn. Use that saying, his own, against him. There is no better way to fight him. Instead of crying, squealing, wailing, it won't help. So inshallah, if you, my brothers, are there, most especially, I'm discouraging the ladies from coming, and especially also prudes, you know, people who are too sensitive, hypersensitive. I might utter a word, and then all your life, that's the only word you'll remember. Say, Deedat, I thought he was a saint. Deedat was a saint. But from his mouth I heard this. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know really tomorrow night. But I like you to be there, and I hope you are strong enough to take what I have to give. And with these words, I'm very, very grateful to this, your congregation, for at short notice creating this opportunity for me to come and share my thoughts with you on this guy Rushdie. And if there are any questions regarding what I have said or anything else pertinent around the topic, I'm at your disposal. Any question? Yes, my brother.
Muslim.
He was born to Muslim parents. His father and mother are still alive. They're Muslims. They're in Bombay. But you see, they were a little more affluent, means a little rich. So they sent the son at the age of 13 to England for education among the whites. And, once you are in that atmosphere, you see all the freedoms you enjoy, all the straitjacketing is gone. Now he can eat pork chops, now he can dance, now he can drink, then he starts going with these white girls. See? So day by day he's going further and further away. And he's studying, he's a brilliant man, he's a clever devil. Because Shaitan was not less clever. Shaitan, Iblis. If you remember from the Quran, that he is challenging Allah. You know that? Shaitan, Iblis. He says, you got me in the wrong. I'm going to waylay these people, I'm going to take them off, I'm going to take them all to hell. That guy is clever. Shaitan was very clever. This guy is also very clever, clever devil. What he has done is, not only he attacked us, but he has made a fool of the West. He's fooled them all. That is what I want to tell them. I said, look, what he has done to you. See, that's what he has done to Margaret Thatcher. Let me just show you this one. He calls her a bitch. Huh? But Margaret Thatcher, when she says, no, we have freedom of speech in our language, she didn't know that this guy is calling her a bitch in his book. And you got to tell him. I said, look, tell her. Sure. I said, look, Ma, you're such a great lady, iron lady. Now, why? You are his benefactor. You look after this guy. You gave him a refuge in the country. You gave him British domicile, British passport. Now he's calling you a bitch. You Londoners, he's calling you bastards. This word bastard. Around the 60s, in the City Hall of Durban, I used that word as a quotation from the Holy Bible. In the Bible, 3 places this word is used. From the book of Deuteronomy, I quoted, the Bible says that the bastard shall not enter the congregation of the Lord even unto the 10th generation. Once you are a bastard, your generations, for 10 generations, you are bastards. Now, I only quoted, and the roof nearly fell. See, people, my own people, so how can you use that word? Now, this guy uses it 30 times in the book. I said, let me read it to you. There to the whites on BBC, let me read it to you. But what he calls it, this is mildest. What I told you is, calling her a bitch is mild, very mild. Calling them bastards is very mild. Let me tell you what he says. I don't know how I'm going to do it tomorrow, but this is what is. Turn the table. So he was brought up under these conditions where he is a westernized guy, and he said, look, I've got nothing to do with religion. There are many like that in our midst also. See, the Muslims, they might come for Friday Salat, but in the heart and mind, there's nothing Islamic. There's just to please the father, trying to please his wife. He's coming to the mosque. But in his heart and mind, he's not a Muslim. But this guy openly, he says, this is all, bunkum. He's got nothing to do with these things. So he was born Muslim to Muslim parents. His name is Salman Rushdie. That was the name, Salman, name of the Sahaba. Salman Farsi, his father gave him. And Rushdie, see, Rushdie should be spelled rightly, the way we pronounce. Rushdie, R-O-O-S-H. Rush. D-E-E-D. Rushdie. But no, you see, the father anglicized the name. R-U-S-H. Rush. D-I-E. What is D-I-E? Die. Rush. Die. Die. Should, you say, they say Rushdie die. It's a rush. Die. Die. Look, a prophetic. The name the father chose, he must rush to die. Rush, this R-U-S-H. Rush, ask any child. What is R-U-S-H? Rush. D-I-E, die. Rush, die. He's rushing to die. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillah.